Hey folks, so after seeing the success of my heroes abilities video, which was mainly tend to be like a hero introduction type of video and not really going into the details, I felt like I need to do one additional hero guide, an ultimate guide where I give you much more details. So let's go. Before we jump into the hero details, so we have 4 hero types. We have damage or attacker heroes, we have defensive ones or tanks, we have scouts and support type of heroes. And the reason why I'm saying that, because as you level up on the battleground, these have something in common. So every hero within the same type is going to get the same buff on level 3 and level 7. Starting with the support, so on level 3 your cooldown to revive your teammate is being lowered, and there's an additional reduction of cooldown at level 7. To be more precise, the default revival time is 15 seconds. On level 3 it's being reduced to 12 seconds, and then as you hit level 7 it's being further decreased to 9 seconds. To be frankly honest with you guys, while I've been doing the testing, I could validate that on level 3 it's being decreased to 12 seconds, but it didn't really happen that I reached level 7 and any of my teammates died. So it's more of an assumption on my end that from 12 it's being decreased to 9 seconds if you hit level 7. Jumping over to scouts, so Young and Phantom, and they get a reduction of cooldown of their ultimate skill on level 3 and level 7. I need to highlight here something which is very important, because level 9 says tactical skill cooldowns are reduced, but it's not actually cooldowns, because all of the heroes at the moment only have one tactical skill. So if you hit level 9, the cooldown of the ultimate is not being modified. Exception is Young and Phantom, but not at level 9. So at level 3 and level 7 the cooldown is being reduced. So the defense heroes, Amber, Watchman, Darkseid and Captain, they get an HP buff on level 3 and level 7, which means that by default you have 120 HP, and on level 3 you get additional 20 HP, and on level 7 again you get 20 HP. In total you're gonna have a base HP of 160. So the bars down at the bottom of the screen, one white bar indicates 20 health, and by default you have 6. If you level these up, these defense type of heroes, you're gonna have 7 and then 8. Basically you're gonna get 160 HP without the shields. The shields are on top of your HP. Last but not least, the attack or damage type of heroes are getting a base movement speed increase at level 3 and level 7. I have to say that it's not significant, still a bit noticeable. So if you're playing like MKR, who has an increased movement speed number by default, and you level him up to level 7, then he's much faster compared to Momo, for example. So let's go into the hero details, and I'm going to share a lot of things in a short time because I don't want this video to be extra long. So Maggie, damage type of hero, her ability Blast Delivery is the grenade, which you can upgrade on level 5, and instead one grenade she's gonna throw 3 grenades at the same time. The default cooldown of the grenade is 30 seconds, but if you hit level 9 then it's being reduced to 20 seconds. Damage wise it depends on where the grenade lands, but if it lands close enough to the enemy it's dealing approximately 80 damage. Arrow Zoom, her ultimate, overloads her jetpacks, which means you can use the jetpacks, both of them, so the vertical and the horizontal, more often. This effect lasts for approximately 7 seconds and the cooldown is 97, so 1.5 minutes. Her passive Jet Boost increases the movement speed for a short period of time after using her jetpack. To be frankly honest with you guys, it's not really noticeable. She's indeed a bit faster, but just for a very short time, so 0.2 or 0.5 seconds, and she's not significantly faster. Still, it helps to escape or enter a fight in some certain cases, especially if you're using it in combination with her Arrow Zoom ultimate ability. MKR, our second attack or damage type of hero, has an ability, tactical ability called Spray and Pray, which ignores ammunition which means that if you use the skill, then you are actually not using the ammunition in your magazine. This ability has a cooldown of 30 seconds and it lasts for 5 seconds. The cooldown countdown starts when the effect ends, which means that every 35 seconds you can use that ability again. After you hit level 9, which I know is not happening in every single game, but in case you hit that level, then the cooldown of this ability is being reduced to 20 seconds. And there's more, because if you hit level 5, then the duration of the spray and pray is increased. So instead of 5 seconds, it lasts for 7.5 seconds. His ultimate fatal volley launches a bunch of rockets in front of him. Wrongly, in the previous video I said that it's better on a close range, but actually it can be used on a close range and also for a far distance. To my understanding, there is no way to cancel the effect, which is kind of a shame, because there are certain situations where it makes sense to use your ultimate, but then 2 seconds later you want to stop it and then just start shooting or something. Also, it's worth practicing on how to aim with this ultimate, because it's pretty much different to compare to how you shoot with your weapons. You need to aim in front of your enemy if they are running towards the side, otherwise you're not gonna hit them. And his passive down and quit just resets your jetpack on kill or assist. So this passive is a monster. You can actually dive into a fight, do some quick kills, and then your jetpacks are being reset. You can use them again, chase the other enemy, or escape from the fight. So this is a very nice passive in my opinion. Yong is our first scout hero on the list. His first ability is Spring Pad, which can be used for jumping, like jumping up on a roof, or you can use it during combat. It's like a secondary jetpack. You can confuse the enemy, you can jump behind them, you can jump further away so they don't find you. It's a very handy ability, but it can be destroyed. It has approximately 100 HP, and be careful because you can destroy your own Spring Pad. If the Spring Pad is not getting any damage, it's there for approximately 15 seconds, and your teammates can also use it. By default, the cooldown of the Spring Pad is 40 seconds, and above level 9 it's being decreased to 30 seconds. There's even more, because on level 5 the springboard displacement effect is enhanced. In other words, that means, like translating it to human language, it means that you can jump further away, you can jump higher and further. There is also a visual differentiation. The default version looks blue and the advanced version is gold. His ultimate Divulge is the best scout ability in the game. So you can scout a huge area and you can scout the area from a very far distance. The cooldown of the skill is 120 seconds to 2 minutes, but at level 3 it's being decreased to 110, and beyond level 7 we'll need to wait for 100 seconds, so a bit more than 1.5 minutes to use your ultimate again. One huge highlight regarding this ultimate is that you're gonna see the enemies for 22 seconds. So compared to the other two scouts, Cyphers and Phantoms, this is way more. Yong's passive, Trace and Trace, allows you to see enemy footprints, so people who were there recently, you can see them. I think it's handy if you're in Carnivore, for example, but I think it's not the best passive in the game. Sunil is the first support hero on the list. He is getting the teammate revival cooldown reduction, and he's having the exact same spring pad as Yong, same stats. It has approximately 100 HP, it can be destroyed, it has a 40 seconds cooldown. If it doesn't get any damage, it's there for approximately 15 seconds. His ultimate hologram guide removes negative effects like slow effect or such and makes you immune to them, which means that if you are being attacked by Captain, for example, or Watchman's freeze defense turret, then Sunil can help removing that debuff, not just for himself but for the whole team. Also on top, the movement speed is increased for the whole team, and there is a damage buff as well. The cooldown of this skill is 100 seconds, so a bit more than 1.5 minutes, and it lasts for 15 seconds. The damage increase is 10%, which is not that much actually. So if you're doing with a Jupiter like 20 damage by default, then with Sunil's buff you're gonna do 22. It's not significant, but the run speed enhancement makes you really fast, and it can help you during combat, but also if you want to get from location A to B. His passive Adrenaline says that you are moving faster while you are shooting. I'm gonna be honest, I've been experimenting with that and I didn't see any major difference. So it might be true, but I couldn't see that being like a huge advantage. So I think it's not the best passive in the game. The Cinder is another attack damage type of hero, and her first ability, the tactical ability, is Portable Incendiary Bomb, which is the bomb that explodes and then leaves flames behind on the floor. By default, it has a 30 seconds cooldown. If you reach level 9, it's being reduced to 20 seconds. Since one of the updates, there is no self damage anymore, so you can safely run into your own flames. If you are hitting level 5, the radius of that flame circle is much bigger, and this ability is also doing more damage once you hit level 5. Her ultimate Absolute Gravity is dragging the enemies toward the center of that core, and be cautious because it can be destroyed. So the enemies can destroy the core, and even you can destroy your own core, which is weird, and I hope this is gonna be fixed at one point because you can accidentally shoot at your own core. There's actually another hero, so Cypher, with her EMP ability, which is pretty much the same or similar, but she cannot destroy her own things. Anyways, the cooldown of this ultimate is 80 seconds, and I think it's one of the best ultimates in the game, especially if you're using it in combination with your tactical ability, or if your teammates are supporting you with a gas bomb, for example. Her passive Shotgun Assault is going to increase your magazine capacity and lowers the reload speed if you're using shotguns. Instead of 6 shots, you're gonna have 9 if you're using Lucinda, and indeed she reloads faster. But as I also said in my Lucinda highlight video, I wouldn't recommend you to use a shotgun as your primary weapon. So it's good at start, but the fact that there are way better weapons makes this passive a bit useless. Ember is a defensive type of hero, so he's getting the HP buff at level 3 and level 7. His tactical ability Smoke Bomb has a 30 seconds cooldown, and it lasts for approximately 10 seconds. After you reach level 9, that cooldown is being reduced to 20 seconds, which means that you can relatively often use your gas bomb. And yes, I said gas bomb intentionally because at level 5, your smoke bomb is being enhanced to become a gas bomb, which means it becomes green instead of gray, and it's dealing damage. After the tactical ability, I usually jump to the ultimate, but in case of Ember, I'm going to make an exception. So his passive is Eye of Truth, which makes him immune to vision disturbance from smoke bombs, but there's more. If you are throwing your smoke bomb or gas bomb, and if you run into the gas bomb, then interestingly, you can see enemies around you. I'm not sure if this is fully intentional or a bug, but it can be used as a scout type of ability. Let me add that I couldn't really figure out why it works in some cases and why it doesn't. If you guys know, then leave a comment and let me know. Oh, and one more thing, the gas bomb has a pretty nice damage, so I think every tick causes like approximately 25 or 27-ish damage, and it ticks pretty fast, so I think it's a very nice skill. His ultimate Vision Erosion, a dense fog, which is basically a big huge black ball or something, and everybody within that ball, within that black ball, has a very limited visibility, so they don't really see what's happening around, except Ember, because he's seeing, let's say, clearly in the area, which makes it easier to hunt down enemies if they are within that ball, that black thing. Our next hero is Phantom. She's another scout, so at levels 3 and 7, the cooldown of her ultimate is being reduced, and her tactical ability is Portable Scout, basically a scout that you can throw. You can throw it like a grenade, and then you can see the enemies within that area. The base cooldown of the ability is 30 seconds, but if you hit level 9, it's being reduced to 20 seconds, and the opponents, the enemies, are visible for approximately 4 seconds. If you are hitting level 5, then this ability is being enhanced, so instead of 4 seconds, you're gonna see the enemies for 6 seconds. And compared to Young's ultimate, who is seeing the enemies for 22 seconds, the 6 seconds is not really too much. Her ultimate, Optic Camo, which is basically a stealth, allows her to hide herself and also the team. After using your ultimate, you're gonna need approximately 3 seconds to enter the stealth mode, and the stealth mode lasts for 18 seconds. Make sure not to run fast and don't use your jetpack, because if you're doing that, then it's going to cancel your ultimate. By default, the cooldown is 80 seconds. At level 3, it's being decreased to 70 seconds, and at level 7 and beyond, you're gonna need 60 seconds to use your ultimate again. Her passive Fatal Shot is saying that it deals extra damage with headshots with sniper rifles. Actually, I didn't test this out. Usually when I use a sniper rifle, I'm using a bar, which is having a big damage anyways. But let's just accept the fact that in case you're playing Phantom and if you're dealing a headshot with sniper, you're gonna make more damage. Cypher, our next support type of hero. Her tactical ability is Area Recon, a scout ability, but honestly, this is a bit useless compared to Phantoms and Youngs. So first of all, it's not scanning a big radius. Second, you cannot throw it. Third, there's a 1 second delay before it scans, so after you hit the ability, you kind of need to wait a bit. But if you reach level 5, it's getting much better because you're scouting a much bigger area, and if you see enemies, then you're gonna see them for 7 seconds instead of 3.5. Her ultimate EMP Shock damages all the shields. It's slowing down vehicles and disables jetpacks. So it sounds cool, but it actually isn't that cool because enemies can destroy that EMP Shock. They can run outside, which makes it hard to use this ability. And this is the ultimate which you cannot destroy with friendly fires. And I think this is the right thing why you would want to destroy your own stuff. Cypher's passive is SMG Pro, and it decreases the reload speed when using an SMG. It's not having an impact on ammo capacity or such, only the reload speed. And honestly guys, the reload speed by default is something like 1.5 seconds. I tested that, and if you're playing Cypher, it's being decreased to 1.2 seconds, so it's not a significant change. It's definitely faster, but it's not like a game changer. Momo or Momo or Momoi or whatever you call her, the next support hero on our list, she has the same smoke bomb as Amber and Darkside, which is converting to a gas bomb at level 5. Cooldown is 30 seconds, it lasts for 10 seconds. Her ultimate, the Hoarder Drop or the Airdrop, this is interesting because it can really help you, especially at the beginning of the game. It has a 150 seconds cooldown, so you gotta wait more than 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes to be more precise. And if you are pressing your ultimate, you need 12 seconds before you can open it, so until it lands. And actually after it's already on the ground, you need another 4 seconds to open the airdrop. But after you can finally open it, it contains usually good stuff, good weapons, growth items and whatnot. It's a pretty cool ultimate. Her passive Quick Aid is I think one of the best passives in the game at the moment, so it can really help you, especially if you quickly need to restore your shields during combat. So her passive allows you to use medkits and restore shields faster, and this applies not just to Momo but also the whole team. Watchman is a defensive type of hero. He's getting the HP buff, and his tactical ability is called Bunkers Away, and basically a bunker or a wall pops up. It has a 30 seconds cooldown, which is being reduced to 20 seconds above level 9, and there are 2 parts of this. The top part, the glass, is breaking faster if it receives damage, but the bottom part can also be destroyed. It has a bit more HP, but it's not giving you like absolute protection. On level 5, it says the range and the defense value of defensive bunkers are increased. This actually means that the width of your wall is a bit wider, and it can absorb a bit more damage, but it's still not bulletproof. This ultimate ability, Freeze Defense Tower, slows down and deals damage. The cooldown is 100 seconds and it lasts for approximately 25 seconds if it doesn't get any damage. It has approximately 200 HP, but still to be confirmed. If you know the exact HP of that defense tower, then please leave a comment. And his passive Auto Guard is a shield that is generated which just pops up for a short time if he receives any damage. It has an internal cooldown. I tried to test it and I think the cooldown is somewhere in between 90 seconds and 120 seconds, so 1.5 minutes or 2 minutes. For me it triggered at 110 seconds, but I wasn't under constant fire. Cyan or Kana, please let me know how you think this hero needs to be pronounced, is our next support hero. Her tactical ability is called Restoration Field, which repairs your shields and also heals you. It has a 40 seconds cooldown, which is being reduced to 30 seconds on level 9 and above, and it lasts for 10 seconds. Her ultimate Medi-X, which is basically a small drone appearing next to you and all of the teammates. Distance doesn't matter, and that drone basically heals your team. It has a 100-second cooldown and it lasts for 10 seconds. One important thing is that that drone can actually revive a teammate. So if your teammate dies and you use your ultimate, then the drone is going to attempt to rescue that teammate without you being actually around. And her passive emergency aid, so she can rescue teammates faster than others, and considering that she is a support type of hero, she's getting the hero type buff plus the passive, so it means that on maximum level I believe she only needs 6 seconds to revive a teammate, because it would be 9 seconds, but because of her passive it's being reduced to 6 seconds. Darkseid, another tank or defensive type of hero, is having the exact same smoke bomb as Ember, for example, same stats, so it lasts for 10 seconds, cooldown is 30 seconds, and so on. His ultimate Travel Barrier is a large protective shield basically appearing in front of you. It somewhat hinders your visibility, but it's actually a pretty nice skill. It has an 80-second cooldown and it protects you for 20 seconds if you are not getting massive damage. I don't have the exact number, but it can absorb approximately 200 to 300 damage. In case you know the exact number, please leave a comment below. I heard from players that this ultimate is pretty useless because you can still aim and shoot at Darkseid's legs. Yes, you can do that, but if you crouch with Darkseid, then it also lowers the shields, so basically you cannot shoot the legs anymore. If you are getting into a face-to-face gunfight, open area, then the shield is going to buy you like approximately 2 or 3 seconds, and actually within that time you can knock down one of the enemies and win. Passive is pretty useless, so I don't really want to spend too much time on it. It says every once in a while Darkseid can use the shield recharger with double the effect. Basically it can recharge your shield faster. I think the initial cooldown is similar to Watchman's shield, so something between 90 and 120 seconds. And some even say it's easier to hit him because of the size of the hero, but I didn't test it out. I cannot validate that. If you have any precise information, then please leave a comment down below if he's actually having a bigger hitbox. Captain, our last defense or tank type of hero, his tactical ability is called Barrier Deployment, which is basically a barrier around you which lasts for 10 seconds. The cooldown of it is 30 seconds. On level 9 it's being decreased to 20 seconds, and after you hit level 5 this barrier gives you a greater protection. There's also a visual differentiation, so above level 5 it's a bit shinier. It still can be destroyed, similar to Darkseid's shield or Watchman's wall, but it can absorb some damage and can buy you some extra seconds to keep yourself alive. His ultimate Aqua Blast is a water gun which slows down enemies and deals damage. It actually deals a decent amount of damage. It has a 70-second cooldown, and again similar to MKR's ultimate, this is also something you cannot cancel. I have checked the distance and you can see on screen that you cannot be too far away to use this ultimate, so you need to be pretty close. His passive Explosion Proof gives you damage reduction when encountering AoE effects, which I guess applies to gas bombs or Lucinda's flame circle and such. I think it's nice to have, but not a huge game changer. And our last hero, Bo, our last attack or damage hero, he has nothing really that helps him to survive. All of his abilities aim to do destruction. His tactical ability Frenzy Blast is exactly the same as Maggie's grenade. It's just called differently, but it again has 30 seconds cooldown. It's being decreased to 20 seconds if you reach level 9, and at level 5 it actually gives you 3 grenades instead of 1. This ultimate cluster grenade is another type of grenade. So you throw it, then it explodes, it does some damage, it explodes into multiple smaller fragments, which then also do damage, like secondary damage. The cooldown of this ultimate is 60 seconds. This passive is really interesting. So Assault Rifle Mod Master, it means that your magazine capacity is increased, not the reload time, but you're gonna have more magazines. So if you pick up a weapon, for example the Invader, which has 14 bullets by default, with bow you're gonna have 19 bullets. So it's pretty decent. It's increasing your magazine capacity with approximately 25%. One interesting thing though, if you pick up a new weapon, then you don't have the extra ammunition by default. You need to reload once to apply that. So folks, we got to the end of the list. I know it was overwhelming, it was a lot. Still, I hope I could share something which you didn't know already, or even if you knew it, it was nice to see like everything at once. Give me feedback about this type of video. Do you want to get more guides like, you know, how to win every single gunfight, best settings, how to survive Carnival and all that stuff? Or are you more wanting to see gameplay, actual gameplay, where you see me, how I react in certain situations? Let me know in the comments down below. As always, happy gaming, have a nice day, and see you next time. Bye.